fuck it, we're going live. Fuck it, we're going live.
Yeah. I don't think it would be bad if she's working.
It's just the noise. The only thing is like I'm worried about is the noise. Is because this is important about what you have to say.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, whenever you want.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to cut it, so I'll get this shit out of here. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Kevin Ducey, and I'll be your host for a new series that we're running. It's called Cafe with Jefe. It was an idea that I came up with a while ago. Derek and I were sitting around and we were talking, and it was talked about the evolution of the gym, talking about Derek's business goals, his why, where the gym was going, and I really thought, you know what? The gym could really use the opportunity to hear what I'm hearing, but as the gym's growing with 100 plus members, not everybody has that opportunity. So I reached out to Derek. I said, Derek, hey, what do you think about this interview series? What do you think about you and I sitting down, once a month, twice a month, and just discussing like what's going on with the gym, where it's going, why you're here, that kind of thing. And we'll run some special announcements and things like that. And Derek was like, dude, let's go ahead and do it. So here we are with no further introduction, Cafe with Jefe, Mr. Derek McElroy. Derek, how you doing today?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. So Derek, there might be some, we've seen that, obviously it's the new year. The cleanse gets a lot of people coming to the gym. We got this 9,000 square foot building. That just happened overnight. Some rich uncle gave you a bunch of money and Homebase was born, right?
Yeah, sure.
So how did Homebase start? Like. So give us the story here.
So I was doing CrossFit at a gym not far from here. I guess it would have been about 2014. And so a few of us were there. The gym was not doing well. The owner was kind of, he was ready to kind of be done with it. So I'd gotten to the point where I was kind of managing that gym for him. And we were just hanging on by a thread. He had asked me to maybe try to buy him out, things like that. It just wasn't, none of it really seemed like a good fit. So I kind of thought the best course of action would be for he and I to maybe like downsize, and start fresh, and he didn't see the value in that, so he kind of got out of it. So we knew that the gym was going to be closing, so the members that were left, which is a very, very small group of us,
some still with us today, right?
Yeah, very much so. Not as many as back in the day, but definitely some of them still here. But so a few of them had asked me if I would be willing, because my best friend Kevin up in Boston had CrossFit Homebase already opened at that time. Asked me if I'd be interested in maybe just starting. I was working in oil and gas as a petroleum landman, and so at the time I was getting about to get married, and so I had to sit down and talk with my ex-wife over some things about that. But we decided to start small, not give up the oil and gas immediately, and so we opened, and then rest is kind of history as far as that goes. As I'm sure you're going to ask questions on that.
Yeah. So how many members?
Uncle.
How many members did you start with?
I think there was probably about on the grand opening we had about 45 people show up, and then I think 22 or 23 of them became members there. That we kind of transferred over. So I'd say about we had kind of a group of 20-25 friends that kind of were just getting together working out after that gym closed.
It's kind of impressive when you think about that, because as a person who runs a small business, and CrossFit, this is a business. This is your business. You are a small business owner. I look for like a multiplier per year. We're trying to double in growth every year, and you've had a 6x multiplier in members since then. Kind of, if you look at it that way, 6 years you've been doing it. So you started off in a small location, about 800 square feet. Eventually came over here. When did we make the move over here?
There was another stop in between. Okay. So we, without going into detail, we operated over at the first location. It was 800 square feet. Like I said, I initially had to go full time because of the growth at that location. We actually hit, membership got kind of out of control. If you think the 5:30 p.m.s are busy and crazy here now, you should have seen us in year one in 800 square feet. So we actually got to the point where we needed more space, and I had some things in place with the landlord there that were going to be able to expand, and things didn't work out. Things fell through, and so we kind of had to make a last minute decision to find a space, because me and the landlord had a pretty nasty falling out, and so that kind of leads into the whole story about the first bout at the base, and the gym being locked up in a U-Haul for 3 days, the only 3 days we've ever been closed in the history of Homebase. But so we moved over right over here at 235 in Britain behind the Circle K, we had about 4,000 square feet over there.
Okay.
And so we actually spent a year there, and then our friends next door, the cabinet guys, if you've been around long enough to remember the cabinet guys, they wanted our space. So we were kind of asked and paid to come over here. So we moved over here in October of 2017.
Okay. And so you'd already so that battle of the base that year was done at the old location. So the
second location.
So the first battle of the base that was here would have been 2018.
Yes.
Right on. And so that was my first experience coming over here watching Travis Benham work out. I remember we were supposed to be teammates and I wasn't able to do that. And I was really impressed by not only the competition but the layout of the gym. And so one of the things like that made me dive in and want to pick your brain as a small business owner as well is like I noticed the evolution of this gym since I've been here. I started about a year and a half ago. It just we used to say when we were in the Army, like you constantly improve on your fighting position, and that's the same kind of concept and thought process that you need to have when you run a small business. You have to constantly be improving. And I remember the check-in desk was up front here. I mean, the improvements that have been made here in the past 18 months are staggering. You know, almost double the size. You know, the TV. We've done a lot of cool things. With that evolution for you as a business owner, what's one of the biggest challenges that you're dealing with now as you've grown in members, you've grown in size, and how are you handling that?
So I think the toughest challenge, just kind of where we're going, and I think it kind of defines and identifies what the future would be is, I think what the base of what we built, you know, at the 800 square foot facility is we kind of had to learn. A lot of people look at CrossFit and they see the facility.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're drawn to. And so I think a lot of people sometimes get it wrong where the facility is nice and that's kind of a cherry on top, but like we learned at that first location that the meats and potatoes were the coaching and the program.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any equipment. In our second location we went about 6 months without a rig. So you can imagine what doing CrossFit without pull-ups and toes to bar looks like, but it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
As long as your coaches care, as long as they know what they're talking about, you know, as long as the classes are being ran and people are getting fitter, it's all going to work. So the facility's nice, but I think the base of what we're looking for is what the experience feels like for somebody walking in the door, okay, what their training feels like,
Mm-hmm.
What the overall, was it a positive or negative experience while they were inside the gym. So when you look, luckily for me, I was able to learn how to make 800 square feet a positive training experience for somebody.
Sure.
So as we've evolved into this location, we still understand that the meats and potatoes is how the experience should feel.
Well, you talk about it all the time to like, you know, I'm in the intern program I'd like to be a coach someday. It's like, it is our responsibility to give people the best hour of their day.
That's kind of where I was headed with that was as I kind of look and see the overall layout, I need to understand that the layout makes sense for the people who are in the intern program, our coaching staff, everybody here, so that people become kind of a representation of me and
Mm-hmm.
where I was in 800 square feet, except now there's like 13 derricks and a 9,000 square feet facility.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of the evolution, is how to share that passion, share that knowledge and experience with an ever-growing group, and just making sure that people understand, hey, this is my role at the gym as a coach, as a staff member. I want to make everybody's experience as positive as they can. Now, I will say this, we've been lucky over the years. I've seen coaches who, you know, they love to coach, but their passion or their why may not align with a athlete in their classes why or passion. We've been lucky here that we have coaches who truly are passionate about making sure that your class is the best hour of your day.
Yeah,
So it makes my job a little bit easier, but it's still going to be a challenge, obviously.
Yeah, I remember I was dealing with one of our coaches, and I won't call him out because he knows who he is, but he says, I don't care about the weights, I care about the athlete that's under the weights, right?
I love that.
And it is so incredibly true, and that's your philosophy as well. And that's kind of come full circle as to why we're doing this too, is because not every athlete, you got 100 plus members, not every athlete's going to have this opportunity to understand, you know, your why about how, you know, CrossFit gave you some mental clarity being a combat war veteran and what we're trying to accomplish here at home base. That being said, if I'm an athlete now and I don't know you very well, let's say I signed up in the past couple months, or maybe I do know you, and I got questions about, where's home base going, or how to handle this, or what can I handle my payments, things like that. What's the best way to talk to you? What's the best way to communicate with you?
Best way would be, so if you don't know Lauren Rufo, get to know her.
Right on.
She's made my life just so much easier to where I can kind of focus on the bigger vision and kind of development of our coaching staff and the staff in general, because she takes on a lot of that for me. So she's got a email, rufo@crossfithomebasecentral.com. And if you email her, she will take care of that stuff probably much more efficient than I could even imagine handling it.
Yeah, and I think that's really critical for the athletes who are watching this, is that to understand for home base to grow, Derek has to have the ability and the time to operate like a small business owner, to take that time and think strategically, put plans in place. When you're not here, I think there's a misconception that, or when you're here, that you're just working out. And I see your brain running all the time, so I think we need to share that. One last thing before we wrap up, we don't want to be here all day, is we got our skulls here for the Open this year. You want to tell the athletes, if you haven't signed up for a CrossFit Open, why you should.
So the CrossFit Open is basically what started CrossFit Games, okay? So when you've got CrossFit.com, that's the hour of your day when you come in and you do high volume intensity functional fitness. But the CrossFit Games was the competitive side of fitness that CrossFit kind of started. It's an online worldwide challenge. Okay, this year it's going to be 3 weeks with a few follow-up weeks for athletes that move on to the different stages. Ultimately, it culminates at the CrossFit Games. But what we do is we try to celebrate the CrossFit Open here at home base by doing a bunch of different cool events. So I'm going to keep one a little bit secret, but I'll give a teaser about it. But every year we've given the Golden Skull out to our fittest male and fittest female in the CrossFit Open. So if you haven't signed up for that, get signed up, because we're going to do cool Friday Night Lights with theme dress-ups. Everything is going to be fun. But also this year, we're going to try to continue to raise some money for our newly formed scholarship fund.
Nice.
With the Carter Jennings Sportsbook. So you're actually going to be able to wager donations like you would at a sports book, and Carter Jennings and I are going to work to get that together. So the sooner you sign up, the better chance you have of having odds on that sports book. We would like to see everybody signed up in the next few weeks so that we can release those odds and get everybody the opportunity to kind of give some money back to this scholarship program we've started here at home base.
That's really cool. I love that. Big ups to Casey Oliver for making these.
Yeah, big ups to Casey Oliver, Joe Stenmark, and Lauren Rufo, all those guys and girls around the gym that really, you're talking about facility. None of that exists if Derek has to do all that. So absolutely. I've leaned on those guys, and then in the past, Doug Mayfield, Joe Morales has helped out a lot. Too many people to name, but people that have played a big part in putting this facility together.
Right on. Well, Derek, thank you for your time. Guys, appreciate you watching. We'll come back. If you like this, if you have any suggestions, comments, questions, things you want me to talk to Derek about, we'd love to do it. We'll probably hit you up with another episode in a couple weeks. Thanks, Derek.
Yep, thank you. You want to do a piece like that you can add in there, like cut out at the end of like asking me who